All right, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody can see and hear me right now. If you can, let me know in the comments. I know, Rune, good morning. Glad you're here. Pocket Woman, thank you. Glad you could be here at the beginning. It's not going to be a long video today. I'm not planning on it to be a long video, but we know how that goes sometimes. But anyway, just kind of out here in the shop this morning. Already ran my errands for the day this morning. Was kind of worried because I woke up late. Stayed up past my bedtime last night. It was almost 11 o'clock before I got in the bed, which is late for me. Normally I'm in bed by 9:30-ish at the latest. But, anyway, it's been a fairly decent week. Haven't had anything out of the ordinary happen. Just regular days at work, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining. But anyway, I couldn't really figure anything out to do today. That's why I posted on Twitter yesterday asking for any suggestions and didn't really get any. So I thought it might be interesting to, especially to some of you from, outside of the U.S., to see one of these guys. This is an American Lock 1100 series Padlock. This was actually the very first American Lock I ever got when I first started picking over 3 years ago now. And they're a fun little pick. Fun to pick. They've got security pins, pretty good tolerances. And I thought maybe I thought about just picking one and tearing it completely down, but then I remembered that Chris Aarons gave me, in the huge box he sent me a while back, I have like 3 completely disassembled with all the parts and pins and springs and everything, American padlocks. They've been through the ringer, but I thought maybe we could put one together. Just sort of do a grab bag and see what looks good and see what doesn't, and pin it up, put it all together, make it work, and then pick it. So let's see who all is here. Let's see. All right, Mr. Hooligan, and I'm sorry I cannot pronounce your stream name. It is Russian. I don't know how to say it in English, and I don't know how to pronounce it. My Cyrillic is a little rusty. But glad you're here. Thank you. See, I think I said, Mr. Hooligan. Who else is here? Paul Cohen, good morning. Thank you for being here. Yes, the little bird. I think, as best I can tell, he's doing okay. I checked several times last night after I posted the video with the little baby bird that fell out of the nest. I checked, he's not fallen out of the nest again. Probably after I'm done with this video, I'll go out there. I tried to sort of peek up there. I didn't really want to disturb them too much. But I did hear chirping, so there were 2 other little babies in the nest that I could see when I aimed my camera up in there. That was the only good way that I had to see up there. And like I said in that video, if for no other reason to buy a stepladder, that would be the reason. But anyway, it was so cool last night when I put the little baby back up in there for the second time, and I mentioned it on the video, and I wish that I had the phone aimed just right to where it would catch it, but Mama Bird was in there the whole time, that second time, watching me put it back up in there, and she landed on the roll-up door. Where they built the nest is actually the roll-up door for that side of the shop. Y'all have seen that before. And they built it just in behind there and sort of burrowed into the fiberglass insulation that's up in there. And that's where they built the nest. So it's very, very secure up there. And I think the babies probably hatched about a week ago, maybe. Maybe 10 days, because it looked like the feathers on that one were coming in pretty well. And the others looked like they had good feathers. But anyway, we'll see. I'll go out there and check and see if see how they look. Maybe just take like a selfie stick or something and aim the camera up in there to see how they're doing. Let's see, Mad Hatter, good morning. G Keyman 565, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Got a pretty good turnout this morning. That's awesome. I'd like to see that. So again, I guess what we're going to do is just build a padlock and build it out of these parts. If you're not familiar with these, this is one of the American 1200 series. These locks generally are for lock sporters. They are great to learn how to pick security pins with, because they come stock with serrated key pins, also serrated driver pins, spooled driver pins, and they have pretty good tolerances. So they're pretty good to learn how to pick all that stuff with. Plus, they're aluminum bodied. Most of them. They're, let's see, let me grab off the shelf here. This one is similar. It's a 5200 series. It's actually a steel, a metal body one. This one's US set, so it was government use. And I forget how I wound up with this one, honestly. Can't remember if somebody gave it to me. I've had it a long time, though. It's the only one I've got like that in my collection. But anyway, yeah, these are great little locks to pick. They're great, even if you've moved on and you're picking more advanced locks. These are still great to have around because they can give you a good little bit of a challenge. They're lightweight, so if you take your locks with you, commuting back and forth, or if you keep a few sitting on the table next to the couch, in the recliner in front of the television, they're good to have around. They're small, comfortable to hold as well. And as far as usage, real life usage, what you would use them for, I've seen them on like storage sheds for things that aren't real valuable. Give you a case in point, a lot of Wendy's fast food restaurants use them on the outside gates and outside storage areas where they store extra things like cups or drinking straws or packs of napkins or stuff like that are bulky but not high dollar items, I guess you could say. So yeah, they're for securing stuff like that. I wouldn't trust them with, I wouldn't want to use it on something like a lawnmower shed, or definitely not anything that needed to be truly secure, because they can be picked. They are tricky to pick in the wild. Sometimes they can be tricky to pick just sitting there holding them in your hand. But they are convenient and fairly reasonably priced. And the main reason why I wouldn't trust, especially the 1100 series, is that shackle's, pretty thin. This is the 1200 series. And course, this is the 5200. You can see the differences in the shackles there. You know, of course, this is the beefiest, but the 1100 shackle's not really that beefy, so you could cut through it pretty easily. You can get replacement shackles, but anyway, let's see here. Let's look at the chat a little bit before we get started. Okay, thank you, Pocket Woman, for the translation. Lock Secrets. Okay, cool. Thank you, Lock Secrets, for being here. Yeah, Pocket Woman, I'm going to share a couple of my tips when it comes to picking. The tensioning you have to get just right, and if you go back and look at some of my older picking videos, I normally use fairly heavy tension. With these, you need to take it to heavy tension and then back off like 1 notch. Also, the type of pick that you use is, can make a difference. I use this custom blue pick that I've had for years now. It was made for me by Tobias and Julian out of Germany. And you can see the end profile. It's about a medium hook, and it'll reach almost everything, but I picked it was actually the Ace 527, which, let's see if I've got that. Yeah. Just keep pulling all kinds of locks off the shelf, don't I? This guy right here is it's a clone of the American 700 series, and it's just branded for Ace Hardware, but the core is actually the same as what's in these guys, the 1100s. And when I was learning how to pick this, I just could not get it open either. I just tried and messed up a few times. Messed up the core on it a little bit, but not too bad. But the secret was to use top of the keyway tension. I like to use one of these pry bars. And then I actually, at that time, I still had the postal hook from my PXS 14 kit. And I used the really deep hook from the bottom of the keyway, and that let me set all of those pins and finally get it open. So you may want to try that, using a deeper hook and a little bit heavier tension. Let's see here. All right, Rune, appreciate it. Let's see, Matthew, good morning. Jason, good morning. Appreciate you being here. We're going to build as I've been promising, we're going to build us an American 1100 series lock from parts. So let me go ahead and get the camera shifted around here, and we're going to start diving into these parts. I've not even sorted through them. I threw something together out of them, and it is somewhere over here in the background. I don't think I put it up there on the shelf. Nah. But yeah, I threw one together back when I first got it, but let's go ahead and get moved down here and see what we can get started on. All right, motion warning. All right. All right, let's see how this looks and works. It's already starting to get warm in the shop today. Last year, it got got so hot out here every day, and I don't have air conditioner out here still yet, so might have to see what happens. Hopefully I'll be able to get it approved in the budget this year, so I can keep on out here during the summertime. But all right, so we've got all of these bits and pieces. We've got cores that are unpinned. We've got ball bearings, actuators, see, clips for the plugs. If I need to adjust the camera angle on this, let me know. Got a couple, let's see, there's a anti-bypass disc. It's just sort of sorting through all these. We'll mix and match. It'll be like the instead of the Build-A-Bear factory, we'll do Build-A-Lock. And throw that over there. Actuators. We've got enough parts to build 3, except for the shackles. I only have 1 shackle. Buddy, that's a rough shackle. Actually, it's been cut upon right there. Needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I'm not going to go through the whole restoration process today. We're just going to pick out what looks the best and go from there. Definitely get a paper towel because these are gooey. All right. So the first thing, you're going to have the body, and it's aluminum body. This code right here can tell you the date on it. You basically go by the first 3. If it has more than 3, there are 2 charts for it. One if there's only 3 letters, and then one if there's 4 letters. So I didn't go through the process of dating these beforehand, but the differences in that 4th letter there. See, these 2 would have been made at the same time, and then that one would have been made in a different month. Looks like the same year for all 3, but just different months. This is about the best looking one right here. So we'll pull this out. You can see, let's see if I can get, my lamp is broken right now. Let's see if I have a flashlight anywhere. Don't. But you can see down in there how it's machined. And basically what we got to do is put all these parts inside of there. So we've got the lock body itself. Let me try this camera. There we go. That way we can see everything a little bit better now. So basically what we're going to do is just figure out what's best looking. That's kind of cruddy, so I'm not going to use it. This one looks good. Only have 1 anti-bypass shield. I'll show you where that goes. Get a couple ball bearings here that look good. Set these others over to the side. Look at these actuators to see which one. These 2 are the best looking ones. This one's got some belly button lint in it. I think this one looks good. We'll go with that one. The screw's the best looking one. And let's look at the retainers. They're all kind of cruddy. But I think this one's the least cruddy. Throw these screws over here. And springs. That's sort of the shiniest one. Throw those parts over there. And then the cores are all, going to be pretty much the same. Also, if you take one apart and you can't remember which way it goes back together, the front of the plug will fit under this little notch right here. So if you're trying to put it back together, or you put it back together, because the pin chambers will sort of line up there, but not quite. You can get the C-clip on the back, but the pin chambers won't quite line up. So you'll just have a free spinning plug in it. And if you do like I did when I first took one of these apart, you'll drive yourself nuts for hours until you realize that you put it in backwards. So this little lip around here slides under that notch in the top of the core. So we'll use that one, set these others aside. So now we have our basic components here to put this together. Sorry, it's kind of dry out here, so you got to keep hydrated. So what we'll do is orient the lock body like this, with the screw retaining shackle hole right there. And I can't remember, are these the kind, yeah, you can drop the ball bearings down through there and drop them on the floor. Fortunately, I've got another one, so I don't have to chase that one. And then you'll look at the way that the back of the cylinder plug lines up and how it turns. So we'll have it like that. So let's go ahead and put the ball bearings in first. Actually, we'll put this spring in first. And the way that you can tell which hole the spring goes in is it's the one without the screw hole, which goes through and secures the plate. So you're going to put that spring in. Use your finger to hold it there. Drop one of the ball bearings in. And then, again, we'll figure the way, let's see how everything lines up. So you want it like this, in this configuration. And you can see the little cutouts for the ball bearings. And the easiest way to get that in there is a pair of long tweezers. You may have to pull the spring out a little bit so you can adjust that ball bearing. Actually, it might be easier just to put the ball bearing in, put the actuator in, hold it in there with a pair of tweezers so you can seat the ball bearing. Has been a little bit since I put one of these in. Back together all this way. Let me look at the comments. Let's see. Good morning, Ronald. Yeah, Pocket Woman, it does have a spring here on the actuator. And I would have to look at one of my look at my only Lockwood padlock. to see how it compares, but it does have that. Trying to remember exactly. Did I get that in there correctly or what? Yeah, I think I did, because this little notch right here likes to sit in the little space. That little notch right there, I don't know if you can see that. Slides right in there. Use your tweezers to hold it in. Drop the ball bearing in there. Actually, let's do that. Nope, I'm doing this wrong. Back up, back up, back up. Okay. So the spring goes in. The shackle goes in. Ball bearing goes in. And then the actuator goes in. Okay. Actually, both ball bearings go in first. Which can be tricky to do. There we go. And that way it has pressure. Should hold it. This shackle seems like it's a little bit bent. Yeah. Yeah, I see that, Ren. It has been a while since I've done this. But also, the shackle for this one is a little bit bent. just trying to twist that actuator around in there to help seat the ball bearings. But this shackle is not wanting to do that. Let's see. Hang on just a second, folks. Let me look to see if I can find that other one I put together not too long ago. I know it's around here somewhere. Because with that shackle being bent like that, it's going to prevent me from getting everything seated properly. Let's see here. I'm looking over here on the shelf to see if I can find it. If not, I will take it out of this guy right here. This is another one I have. I've had this one for a while. And in fact, I think just for today's purposes, I will. You can see I picked that one. Just take this one apart real quick. So we can pull the shackle out. Screw, retainer. All right. Set all these aside. Yeah. Let's see, and we can see in there how that actuator is supposed to be aligned. It's going to be in there like that, but it's also going to be under spring pressure. See if we can get it without taking that shackle out. Yeah, Rune, if I had some grease, I would definitely use it. That in there, that in there. I think I've got them balanced. There we go. Okay. You can see we got that seated in there. Now we will test it. Yeah, that's my big screwdriver. I just want to make sure. In fact, I think that's too big. Go back to my little turny thingy. I feel bad because I keep scraping the aluminum out from inside of this. Yep, there we go. Okay. And everything is still held in there. So, there's that part. Set this guy over here. Yeah. Yeah, you know, y'all giving me all these tips, and who says I want to do it the easy way, though, you know? This thing is bent, though, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'm going to keep it like this. Let's move on and get the cylinder pinned up so we can put this thing together and pick the core. Again, this is, you know, these are all sort of, I don't want to call them junk, but they're not something I would, you know, try to sell to anybody or, you know, use on anything. They're doing exactly what they are meant to do in life now, which is help us learn. And I'm just going to make an even bigger mess. Dump all these key pins out. Well, key pins, driver pins, springs. And these are drilled for 6 pins. A lot of times you'll find them with only 5 pins in there. So the first thing I like to do, you also need to have a the smaller diameter follower. I can't remember the exact dimensions on this. It's not the, see, this is the, 48 thousandths. If you don't have one of the smaller followers yet, you can use a, you can use a AAA battery. That'll fit in there nicely. But this will work. Yeah. Yeah, Maroon, I realize that, and I know that there are tricks to do, and I know that it's to ease the work, and I agree with you. You know, you learn. It's like like one of the instructors in my rookie school said one time when I was in the police academy years ago. He said that he did not know any more than any of us in that classroom did, but he knew shortcuts to get the work done. So I agree with that, and I know that. And yes, if I had some grease or magnet or something like that to hold the ball bearings in place, I would have used it. I've never had those before. I don't keep any grease on hand, which I probably should. But yeah, I guess I was being a little facetious when I said that. But yes, I do appreciate all the tricks and tips and everything that I get from everybody. It's just trying to do this sort of on the fly. Sometimes you get a little sidetracked. Anyhow, let's get these springs in here. We're going to pin this guy up to 6 pins, of course. I don't really need the follower for that. Got some sort of big bug in here. Ooh, hang on a second. Sorry, there was a huge wasp in here just now. And I'm allergic, so I had to smush it. That's what that big bang was. I might post pictures later. Stay tuned to Twitter. Anyway. So let's get these in here. And then we'll pick out our key pins. And let's do a good assortment of long, which that's not going to do anything. Look at how long that pin is. It sticks up and makes it barely worth putting in there. Let's see if this one's any shorter. I don't have an actual American lock pinning kit. Otherwise, I would use it. Just sort of going random with what I have. All right. Sort of looking through all these just to see what I've got. Put another. That one's still pretty long though. Let's put a few of these short ones in here. Again, I have no clue what the original bidding was ever meant to be. Put a really short one back here in the back. And then see if we have anything that's not quite as long. Put here and put another one. This guy looks about right there. Again, I don't have a key for it, so we're going to do that. And then let me start from the back. And again, like I said, these are actual American lock pins. You can see that's a spool pin with serrations on it. You also have serrated pins like that. And then on the key pins, you can also see there are serrations along the top there. So, you know, you've got fairly decent pick resistance. This takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of time. Put in a spool. Let's see, I think it's serrated. And then another spool. And I'm just going on the little random depths that I put in here because obviously spools are going to work better with the shallower cut pins. Although you will find differently when you buy a factory pinned lock. So, a serrated back here. A spool for 2. And another serrated for the front. Okay. And normally you would have a half moon follower where that would just slide in there and match up. I don't have one, but if you use a steady hand, should work. So we're done with that right now. We'll put our plug retaining clip on there like so. This guy prevents you from reaching through the keyway with a little tool. Sort of looks like a dimple flag where you can reach all the way back through here and then turn that actuator inside of the lock. You would reach back through and hit that and be able to lever that around to where you completely bypass the core. It's normally a good idea to have a couple of these installed on your American lock. Slide that in there like so. The Bible will tilt over to the right, allowing space for the core retaining screw to slide down. Most of the time they're a Phillips head screwdriver or Phillips head screw. Slide that into place. And you have a lock. So there is our lock. Let's see. Okay. Everybody still with me on the comments? I guess now is the part where I pick it. And like I was saying earlier, Pocket Woman, I like to use top of the keyway and give it enough to take the slack out of it. I don't know if you've seen this video that I did, but I did a video probably about a year, maybe a little bit longer than a year ago, on tensioning techniques. And the way that I like to think of the tensioner in, as far as picking goes, I like to think of this as a clutch pedal. If you're driving a car with a manual transmission, I like to think of tensioning as the clutch. Sometimes you need more, sometimes you need less. Sometimes you need to let your finger off of it completely. Other times you need to push all the way down on it. And it engages how much feedback and how much control you're going to have over the pins inside of that core. So I like to go, you can see with that pinned up, there's a little bit of play in there. I like to go to where it takes all the slack out of it and then just a smidge more. And then I'll just use a standard hook. Click on a 1. Nothing on 2, 3, 4. Click out a 5. Nothing on 6. Back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And if you can't get to it straight from the bottom, you can go to this little ledge that's right here. If you don't have a pick that's tall enough. And also, the tensioner in these likes to hit right on the first pin. Let me go to a deeper hook. This is a steep hook southward. And the more tension that you give these, the more feedback you're going to get. You just can't over tension. Okay, now I've got into a false set. So I'm looking for a spool. Okay, I think I've got it. might have overset just a bit. Reset it. Okay, that was 1. I think that was 4. Either 4 or 5. Okay, 6. And I got a little bit of a false set there. Hey, Savage Potato and Keyless Entry. Appreciate y'all joining in. Just hopefully getting towards the end. Put this lock together from parts, and now we're just picking it open since I didn't have a key for it. I think number 1. All right. I think I probably overset number 1. Let me try this guy. And again, picking these is about finding the right pick that feels, that has reach, but also allows you to get the shallower cut pins. Okay. Hey, Darcy Picks. Good morning. Thank you for dropping by. Okay, I think that was 5. And I dropped into a little bit of a false set. That was 4. I don't even remember what I put in there now, or where I put what. I had, 3 serrated drivers and 3 spools. So now when you've got a false set going on, I like to ease up off the tension and then go through and feel each pin to see if it's giving me any type of feedback. And then if you notice, as I go through, I sort of flex the tensioner a little bit just to see if maybe I bumped something, or also just to hold in place the pins that I've already picked. Okay. I think it's back here on the back. Yeah, I think we just set that one. I think it was 6? Okay. That's definitely giving me feedback there. Okay, 1 had dropped back down. Always recheck the pins that you've already set when you're picking these, because you can drop quite a lot. Okay, that is 6. And I think I just lost it. Okay, anyway, see, I've been going almost an hour since I started the video. One last run through, because I don't want to bore y'all to tears. And Jason starts up in about an hour. I know it's good to get a good break in between. See if we can get back to where we were real quick. Last attempt on this guy, and I will make a video if I get him open otherwise. Yeah, Rune, I probably should have left it open, especially with that shackle being sort of bent. Anyway, I will finish this up in another video, but that's all the workings, trials, and tribulations of the American 1100 series. Still really good locks to practice with for picking. And I would probably use one on like a locker or something like that. Anyway, all right, folks. That's going to be it for this video. I will finish up when I get it picked. I'll finish that up in another video, I promise. Until then, I really... really appreciate everybody tuning in. Rune, happy birthday. You share a birthday with my little brother. So happy birthday today. My birthday is actually the end of this month. I'm not going to say exactly when, but if you were to guess the last Friday of the month, that would be it. So very happy birthday, Rune. I hope you... have a very nice dinner. I hope that the cats do something nice for you. So anyway, hope you have a really, really great day. Appreciate you coming in, as always this morning or afternoon where you are now. But anyway, yeah, folks, let's wish Rune a happy birthday, and let's go ahead and break it off for the morning. If you ever have anything that you want to see me try to do or make a video on, let me know over on Twitter, or my email address is in my YouTube channel profile. So shoot me an email or just leave it in the comments below. Appreciate everybody tuning in again. Hope you're having a great weekend. And stay out of trouble. Stay healthy. And we'll see you next time. Again, happy birthday, Rune. All right. Appreciate it, y'all. We'll see you next time.